Okay, hopefully we are live. So let me just double check in the, oh look, I can see comments too if they come in. All right, let me just see if I'm really live or if I'm fake live. Oh, nope, there we are. Okay, woo-hoo. So hopefully you guys can hear me. Welcome to this week's Activate Your Inner Guidance Facebook Live. Today we're going to talk about how do you create your reality in the quantum field, especially because our unconscious programs are what's keeping us repeating the same scenarios in our life, right? So to break through these, we've got to induce this mystical experience that changes the way we look at reality. And so from that perspective, what an amazing time to be alive. And the consciousness right now and where we're moving is so exciting. And consciousness, of course, is awareness. And awareness is paying attention. And paying attention is noticing. So if a person, for example, is diagnosed with some kind of health issue, what they're conscious of is a certain number of choices that they could make based on what they know, on past, based on tradition, based on what's worked for people in what's the quote normal, right? But what's happens is when that person has done the traditional medical route or the diets and exercise and they still have the issue, or it could be, say, someone has created their website and their lead magnet and they put their social media plan in place and they hold discovery calls and they still are struggling in their business. So that begs the question, if our reality is made up of how we think, how we act, and most importantly, how we feel about all of that, then all of the action in the world will not override that. So if I want to change my life, then that means I've got to change or nothing changes in my life until I do change, right? So the person who's done all the typical action steps then all of a sudden says, there's got to be another way. There's got to be something else. And so when we learn information or knowledge, we make new connections in our brain. And that's what learning is about. We're forging these new synaptic connections in our brain. But that philosophical, theoretical, intellectual information is void of the actual experience, okay? So we have to become the person who is conscious that they could actually heal themselves or be healed, or they can actually create a 6 or 7 figure business, right? So by changing, I'm turning my accent, by changing the way we think, then of course we change the way we act, we change the story. All right. And so by changing the way they think, the way they act, the way they feel, if I truly go into the experiment of I'm no longer thinking the same way, I'm not acting the same way, I'm not feeling the same way, and now I'm starting to think about the vision and the ultimate outcome that I want and really feel into it. This is what it's about, guys and gals, feeling into it. That is what I bring to refire and wire my brain, right? What do they say? If the brain that wires together, fires together, wires together. I forget what the quote is. But if I do that with intention and attention, then I start to install neurological hardware. And if I keep doing it, then that becomes like the software program. It's a new voice in your head. And it goes from what if I can't to, of course I can, all right? And it can seem magical when we're doing the energy work, but it's not magic. This is the way it works, okay? And it's why you want to always make sure that you are asking the questions you want the answer to, because whatever you focus on, you are saying yes to, okay? In other words, if you think about whatever you're focused on, there is no off switch. We think of it, yes, I want that, or no, I don't want that. Yes, I want that, I'm focused on that. No, I don't want that, I am focused on that, right? There's no off switch. So whatever you're focused on, you are saying yes to. So you want to ask questions that you know you want the answer to. So to say, why is it I never have enough money? Let's show her ... situations of why she never has money or he never has money, okay? Versus, why is it that things always work out for me? Well, let's show him ... why things always work out for him or work out for her. You see? So whatever questions you're asking, make sure that you want the answer to be, yes, let's show her, let's show him, okay? Because that is what you're creating. Asking questions, one of my favorite questions, two of my favorite questions. How easy can I stand it and how good can I stand it? Let's show her how easy she can stand it. Let's give her some good. How good can she stand it, right? So that's where you want to start to retrain your brain. God, I can't talk today. What's it like to always have more money in my accounts and flowing to and through me than I could possibly imagine spending in my lifetime? You know, what would greatness be like? How would greatness live today? How would love feel today? What would love look like in my life today? What would be a greater expression of myself and the things that I do? And so it turns out, if you close your eyes and you rehearse in your mind how you're going to be in any aspect of your day, if you're truly present and you're in that space, remember all of your powers in your present moment. Your brain doesn't know the difference between the inward experience of what you're imagining and the outer real physical experience, okay? To the brain, it looks like you've already done it. The brain looks like it's already experiencing it. Now, do that enough times and the hardware becomes a software program and you start to behave like a different person. Super athletes do this all day long, okay? So do musicians and dancers and performers, right? Everybody who's good at something is always rehearsing in their mind that rehearsal, and that rehearsing in your mind is just as important, if not more important, than the physical demonstration, okay? You're priming the brain to make it a map to the future by starting in your imagination, and then you activate that when that happens in the quantum field. That's where everything gets activated in the quantum field, always first, before anything is ever made physical, okay? Any negative feelings you have about anything from your past, any bitterness that you might have to someone or something in your past, it's keeping you connected to the past, all right? Bitterness about the struggles that you might have endured in your business, it is keeping you connected to that situation. So we want to teach ourselves and we want to teach our body emotionally what a new future would feel like before it happens, okay? Not waiting for your wealth to feel abundant or prosperous, okay? Not waiting for the relationship in order to feel love. Not waiting for the healing to feel healthy, okay? So that is the old model of reality of a quantum effect. This is all about cause and effect. Well, it's not about cause and effect, all right? If you can elevate your emotional state and you can sustain that emotional state, your body is so objective that it doesn't know the difference between a real life experience that's creating that emotion and that emotion that you're creating just by your thought alone. Your body will believe it's living in a new reality and a new environment. And of course, the end product of an experience, even if it's in your imagination, when it's grounded emotionally, it's actually signaling genes ahead of the environment, okay? So every day that you choose to practice going from old self to the new self, you start to emerge as a new personality, right? You start to emerge in that person that you were wanting to become. We're doing in the Enlightened Business Success Academy and in the High Ticket Offers program right now, we're going through an experiment where as we go to bed at night, we get clear on who is it that I'm becoming, how does that feel now, and being in that feeling of what that's like until you drift off, okay? And we're starting to see a lot of fun things that are coming out of it. I've got a client just today in the Enlightened Business Success Academy talked about how She's talking about how successful her business is and the clients that are coming. And she wakes up this morning and she has an email, I think it was this morning, in any case, at some point in time recently, said, I saw your email, and not only do I want to sign up for your program, I want to sign up for the high level of your program. Boom, just like that. These are the kinds of things that can start to happen when we step into the version of ourselves that's already in that place that we're aspiring to be. Okay, but we step into it energetically and emotionally now. We don't wait until it's actually there. That's doing it backwards. In fact, you can't get there that way. All right. So every day that you practice going from the old self to the new self, that's when you start to emerge. That's when you step into that version of yourself and you become someone else. You become a higher level version of you. All right. And it feels like, just like magic, the issue or the situation that existed in the old version of you cannot stay when you're somebody different now. All right. And then you share your story, and now you're the catalyst for others to know what's possible. And this is how records are broken, right? We go back to the old classic about Roger Bannister. He's running the 4-minute mile, right? Nobody thought anybody could break a mile in under 4 minutes. First of all, they said it was biologically, physically, and physiologically impossible. And now, of course, ever since he broke that record, last time I read, it was like 1,400 people, something like that, have done that already. So we are here to break our own personal 4-minute mile, all right? Somebody who is piercing through a limitation, the level of unconsciousness is what we're moving through, right? And now what that gets activated once again, where? In the quantum field. Everything starts in the quantum field. In the 3-dimensional reality, what we're looking at is the person maybe who's done what you want to do, but now they don't look any different than anybody else when you look at them, all right? And the person that says, if that person can do it, I can do it as well, boom. Now all of a sudden, what's emerging in the world now, and especially with access, global access, worldwide access in the internet, it's very easy to access information and to look at what's possible. And of course, that's also a two-edged sword, right? Because it also lets us know things that we don't necessarily want to know about as well. So, but it does let us know that there are other possibilities that maybe we weren't aware that could be possible for us, all right? And so what does that mean? You don't need anybody else to be able to do it for yourself. You are your own best authority. When you have a desire for something, you have everything within you to access that. And that is coming from your higher self and your inner guidance, all right? You don't need anybody to give you permission for any of that, or even to tap into your own authority, all right? We don't need a priest. We don't need our government. We don't need a teacher, right? We don't need a doctor to get information any longer. Go out on the internet, find what you need to find. It's everywhere. But the question is, what will you do with it, right? So if you take sound scientific information, proven practical information, and now you combine that with the quantum physics, then the side effect of how you're creating your future, your health, your business, your financial success, all of that can start to get easier. This is how we do it, all right? And this is where we are right now. What we're seeing is this, it's like an emerging consciousness where people are taking their power back. They are not relying on anyone or anything for their own personal change or their transformation. And now we're creating the way it was meant to be. You bring people into an elevated emotional state, something that is innate in the human species, right? This is where we are empathic to one another. The energies are moving very quickly now. We are becoming lighter. We talk about light bodies, our physical bodies, they are becoming lighter. We are having this easy access to knowing, our innate knowing, our intuition, our inner guidance these days in a way that has never been before. And that means that we're also empathic to one another. And we have that ability to now embrace that, seeing the goodness in each other, assuming the best, celebrating one another. We want to get along with one another, right? We want to cooperate. We want to resolve issues. We want to do this together, not fight each other. And it's what we're moving into, in spite of what things might look like in the world right now. That is what we're moving through. We are moving towards this new way of being, this whole new way of living, literally getting to the point. I'm not going to get into it here. Maybe we'll do this in another training. But when we move into the higher dimension, there will be those of us who are conscious and intentional and deliberate about wanting to be the best we can be, to be tapped into our higher selves, the truth of who we are, that are literally going to be moving into, as we are creating it, heaven on earth. Those who are not aligned with this will not experience that. But my hunch is, if you are in this program, not this program, but in this group, that, we're going to be celebrating over in the new earth reality. All right. Enough about that. We'll get into that another day. But this is what we are aspiring to, and this is where it starts. It starts energetically. You'll hear me say it, don't you? Energy alignment first, foremost, and always. And when you try to change something that's already manifest in the physical world, that is harder to do than starting fresh and new in the quantum field. That takes more time and energy, and it's a slow way to go, because we are taking something that's already physical, which is dense matter, right, and trying to change that into more matter, which is also dense. Why not leave the past in the past, leave everything where it is, even 15 minutes ago, and instead of trying to change that, what if we say, I'm going to start fresh and new right here, and I'm going to start in the quantum field by now focusing on the vision of what it is that I want. Forget what was happening 15 minutes ago. We're not going to try to change that. We're going to start fresh and new. Every moment is a new beginning, and this is why all of our power is in our present moment. But if we're trying to change matter back into a different kind of matter, that's going to take time, if we can even do it. And when it doesn't work, and then we get frustrated and we get impatient and we try to manipulate outcomes. And of course, we've been taught this. This is just the way it's been, right? We've been told what we have to do. We sacrifice because that's what we've been taught to do. And sure, eventually that might get you to where you want to be. Then if it does, okay, but it's the hard way. And it's going to be getting even harder as we move forward in these energies. But that's how we've been taught to create in the 3D world. But there is this invisible field of energy, of course, that exists. It's beyond this relative space and time. There are no objects there. There are no people there. There are no bodies there. There are no places there. There's no there, really. There's not time, okay? And right now, that is a big concept for a lot of people to wrap their minds around, because it's nothing material there, and there's nothing physical, and it's a vacuum void of anything physical or material, okay? And if you can take your attention off of everything physical and material, everything known, there comes a moment where your brain starts to switch. And we put our attention, instead of on the matter or changing something, we put all of our attention on energy. We focus in the quantum field. That's the invisible field of energy, of frequency, that is filled with infinite possibilities. And infinite is a very, very big number, right? Okay? And so when we focus there first, now this invisible field of energy connects everything physical and material. And most people, when they look at matter or anything in the physical world, they see matter is emitting a field. That's what we're looking at when we can see it. According to the quantum, it's not matter that is emitting the field. It's actually the field that's slowing down in frequency and creating the physical form of matter. It's slowed down. So if we can get to a point where you can acknowledge that you're not your body, you're not your culture, you are not your age, you are not your profession. You go beyond the physical world where you are no longer aware of anything but the present moment. Right here, right now. Present moment. And your attention is completely in this present moment. When you are there, it's like you've, even though we're just in the present moment, it's like we walk through this door, this little door that we pass through. It's like, the eye of the needle, and we enter the realm of the quantum. Okay, so now you focus on creating from here, from the quantum field, instead of from matter. And when we lead from here, we don't have to go anywhere to get what we want. And in other words, when a person can create the right type of energy, the right type of frequency from the field in this present moment, which is all we've got, there's a vibrational match between your energy and whatever it is you want in your life. And when you create that match, all of a sudden you start drawing experiences to you that feel like they're out of the blue. And of course, they're not out of the blue. You experience synchronicity after synchronicity. You are synchronizing your energy to a possibility in your life. Now you have activated that in the quantum field. So when a person has a thought like of the new clients coming in or a successful business, and you feel the frequency of that, that's why I love this, and I'm just giving it to you now to try this as well. That as we're doing as we're doing our experiment at night of who am I that has a highly successful business with a wait list of clients, or whatever your thing is. What does that feel like? Who are you? Who is that person that you are that falls asleep to that? And of course, as you fall asleep, we open up our subconscious, and it's a much easier way to start to create that. And then those synchronicities happen, like my client who told me today that she has a new client that showed up for her program just from an email that she happened to read. Okay? So when a person has the thought of their new clients in their business, then you feel the frequency of that. All right? It's all about feeling. Always comes back to the feeling of the focus. Right? The frequency of the thought of a 6 or 7 figure business, what would that feel like? It would feel like confidence, security. It would feel exciting. It could feel massive appreciation and gratitude, whatever that would be for you. And thoughts are electric in the quantum field, and feelings are magnetic. All right, so it's like you're creating a Wi-Fi signal when you are connecting to the quantum field, and you literally are changing your energy in that moment. All right, so the thought being the electrical charge, the feeling being the magnetic charge. And how you think and how you feel is broadcasting energy. Your thoughts are the engine, your emotions are the fuel that is driving whatever it is that you're creating in your life. Okay? Now, there's a little bit more that has to happen, because you have to have coherence in our brains, right? The brain's got to be in a space that it's orderly and can accept that, right? It's always emitting a field, which it can do with stress. Stress and other energies that are similar to that disconnect you from the quantum field, because all of your attention now is where? On the physical world, or on the situation that's stressing you right now. So you want to get your brain coherence going as rhythm and order. And now you've got this Wi-Fi signal, and there's this vibrational match to you synchronizing your energy to the synchronicities, the serendipities, the coincidences. Of course, there's no such thing as any of that, right? Those opportunities start to come to you. Whenever you are finding yourself, like the synchronicities that happen, that is your inner guidance, okay? You are open to whatever it was you're asking for. You're being guided to it, and that's where synchronicities start to show up. So this is another thing to do, is start looking for the synchronicities that are showing up in your life. They're happening all the time, and most of them we're missing. So the game here is to start focusing on how is it you want to feel, who do you need to become. We're accessing that in the quantum field, being in that energy now, ideally falling to sleep at night, spending 5 to 10 minutes in the feeling of that before you fall to sleep. Little techniques here for you. And then watch the opportunities start to roll in. It's like the red carpet's just rolled out and you're just following the path that's unfolding before you. And that's when the action is most powerful. It is inspired action. That's when what you're creating that you want is at its most powerful, okay? Energy alignment. Energy alignment first, foremost, and always. You've got to keep bringing it back to there. So I would say for this week, another thing you can do is, I think we've talked about this before in other Facebook Lives, but I have a mindfulness bell app. It sounds like a Tibetan chime on my phone. It says, you can see it right here, mindfulness notification. I've got it turned off, but it still blinks. It goes off once an hour, okay? The minute I hear that chime, it's my reminder to get into present moment and come back to, what do I want? How do I want to feel? Who am I? Who is this version of me that I am now stepping into and claiming? Okay. I will put links to Mindfulness Bell app for the iPhone as well as Android under this video in just a minute. So if you're interested in doing that, I recommend you do it. You can set it for randomly. You can set it every hour. You could set it every 15 minutes, 2 hours, 3 hours. I like to set mine for an hour because even if I can't, like it went off during this Facebook Live, I'm not going to stop and drop in. But when I see it, it reminds me, okay? Even if I can't stop and actually get present at every single time it goes off, right? So that's why I like to have it on a regular basis. But I would say play with this, find what works best for you, and use that app or do something similar that maybe there's something you prefer that just reminds you to stop, get into the present moment, and just become aware of the thoughts that are going through your head at that time. And if they're old patterns of thought, that's fine. That's fine. Ask yourself, what is it that I prefer? All right? What is it I prefer? Don't beat yourself up. Don't, oh my God, here I go again. All you're doing is you're keeping yourself in that rut. Okay? And we're wanting to use this as a pattern interrupt to start creating from the quantum field in ways that are so much easier than the way we've been taught to create anything. And how do you prefer to feel instead? That's all you want to ask yourself. How do I prefer to feel? What choices will you now make instead? All right? And each time you do this, you are deepening that pattern interrupt, right? That's what we want. We want this pattern interrupt. And you activate through your vision and your imagination and with your feeling what you ultimately want to be creating in that moment. And as you do, you begin to change. You begin to become a new version of you. One that creates and experiences the life or the business, the success, the health, the relationships that you know you deserve. And if you don't know you deserve it, let me tell you, you do deserve it. Just the fact that you are here, you deserve everything that you desire. The fact that you have a desire is coming from the core of your inner guidance and who you are. It's already within you. Now it's a matter of getting into present moment and energetically stepping into the version of you who has those things. All right. That is it for today. If you have any questions, let me know. Let me know if you're going to play the games. I'll put the descriptions of these little games and techniques here with the video as well. And let me know how you go. All right. That is it for now. Big, big heart hugs. Lots of love. Betty, I see you. Awesome. Yes, rehearsal is important. Absolutely. I'm so happy I can finally see the comments. This is something that we weren't able to do since, the Zuckerberg decided that they didn't want the third parties in here, but this is working quite well. Allison, hello. Great to see you here.